Hi, my name is Elliot Arudos and I'm from the Online Citizen. And today we're here with presidential candidate Mr. Tan Kin Lian. Mr. Tan,
Hi.
How do you do?
Fine, thank you.
Okay, well, shall we begin?
Yep, certainly.
Well, can you tell us a little bit more about yourself?
I now run a consultancy company, also involved in developing computer software, and my spare time I spend updating my blog, which is very popular. It does take me maybe about an hour or two a day. I have two granddaughters, and whenever they come, that takes also my time to spend time with them. That makes up most of my outside activities.
Now tell us, why do you want to become Singapore's next president?
You see, I come in with some reluctance because I prefer a private life. So to become a public figure, especially as president, is going to cause a big change to my life. But first I do it partly to make sure that there is a contest. The last two presidential elections were walkovers, so I want to make sure that there is a contest. And even now that there are four candidates, I was quite open to discuss for candidates with similar goals, for one or two to withdraw. But since nobody wants to withdraw, I'm contesting the election. Now I bring to this election certain goals. My goal is to be the voice of the people, independence of the PAP government, and also to use my knowledge to safeguard CPF money and the reserves, which are of much concern to the people. Now, I'm also standing for election because many people want to have a candidate, have a president who is non-partisan. So I bring to that the non-partisan option to the people of Singapore.
Now, Professor S. Jayakumar said recently that the president has some discretionary custodial powers, but that the president is not a separate center of power distinct from the government, and that other than these specific areas, the president constitutionally has to act on the advice of the cabinet, and this is the legal stand, the legal position. Do you agree with what Professor S. Jayakumar said?
I agree with maybe the major part of what he said. The president has duties in the constitution, and the duties have to be carried out in the manner prescribed in the constitution. Now that part I agree, but then the other alluding that the president shouldn't speak on any matter, now that I don't agree. I believe the president should not be dumb, and I believe the president can play a very useful role to be the voice of the people, to bring their aspirations and their concerns to the government, and that this role can be constructive, helpful to the government, because the government is also struggling to review and change some of the policies, and these are long-standing policies, which things are getting from bad to worse. They have to be changed, and the government wants to change. And I think the president can play a useful role in making that change. So this role about being the voice of the people is useful. It is not disallowed under the constitution. In fact, the people expect the president to play this role, and I want to do so. Now, on the matter about acting on the advice of the cabinet on some decisions, that's provided in the constitution. But I want to say that the president can have quite good influence. The reason is if I have strong views on certain matters, and this should be not my personal views but the views of the people of Singapore, I want to convey these views to the cabinet so that they take these views into account when they finally give their advice. They cannot just ignore the president's views, especially if it reflects the views of the people. So I do expect that there will be discussions and that the President can make a significant impact on the decisions, on the advice that the Cabinet is going to give to him.
I think linked to this, there's a perception among the public that the President is no more than an overpaid public figure with very few real powers. How do you hope to correct that perception?
I think the first perception that the President is powerless is not true. The President can do a lot of things, especially in conveying the aspirations and the concerns of the people. So therefore, I will want to tell the people of Singapore, don't expect a dumb president. Don't expect a president who is going to be rather passive. So you're going to have a more active president. Now, even so, I agree with majority of the people of Singapore. The president is highly overpaid. That's why I pledged right at the start of my campaign, at least half of the president's salary will be donated to charity and other worthy causes. Now, we know the president's salary and the minister's salary are now being reviewed. Even so, I think it's still going to be substantial after the review. So therefore, I'm quite happy to pledge at least half towards charity.
I'm sure that you are familiar with the late President Ong Teng Cheong, who famously butted heads with the ruling party when he asked for information about Singapore's reserves. Do you foresee similar problems in attaining such information?
Well, I think President Ong operated in a more difficult time. Those were the days where things were not very clear, and those were also the days before the internet, before the social media. This time I expect things to be different. There is a need for more transparency and more openness. So I do expect as the President that I will be able to get a better idea about what the reserves are and how they are to be safeguarded. So I don't expect the same kind of problem faced by President Ong, partly because times have changed.
So in what way do you plan? Are you going to advocate this transparency to the people? I think that's an issue.
Well, I'm going to first know what the reserves are. And it's not that difficult to know what the reserves are. I also want to know how the reserves are moving, whether it's being used or whether it's being accumulated. I want to publish this into an annual report. Of course, there are certain things that you have to take care of, certain things called state secret, or certain things that the publication is going to cause more harm than good. If there are valid reasons, then of course we don't want to publish the details. But generally, we want to let the people know that these matters, someone is looking after it. Not the president himself, but people working for the president. It could be accountants, could be lawyers. So this independence and independent oversight into our reserves is key to the Constitution. It's a key role, and I want to play it in a way that is helpful to the people and also helpful to the government. I think the government is basically doing its best for the good of the people, but there's somehow a lack of trust because of this communication. I hope the president can improve that situation.
Many people want the president to be his own man. So with your government links and your position as ex-NTUC, former NTUC chief, so how would you rise to that challenge of portraying yourself to be your own man,
Now, I was with the PAP, helping Mr. Goh Chok Tong for 10 years, from 1975 to 1985, not just in the PAP but in the grassroots movement, in the Marine Parade. Now, the PAP in those days were highly respected by many Singaporeans. They give to the people low cost public housing, very affordable. They also the cost of living was low, and people have adequate wages. Now, those were the time where Singaporeans were very proud to be in Singapore, and I was involved in that during that period. Now, after 1985, I become not active. Now, my time in NTUC Income was also a public service. Why? Because I run the insurance cooperative to give a good return to nearly 2 million Singaporeans. They put their savings with NTUC Income, and after 20-30 years, when they get back the money, they get a very good return, much higher than what is offered by other insurance companies. Now, I'm doing this for the people of Singapore, not for any political party. Okay, so now I also in the recent general election, I spoke in 2 rallies. One for the NSP, because my good friend Goh Meng Sing asked me to speak, and the other for the SDP, where I spoke for Tan Ji Seng. Now, both of these people, in their way, also concerned about the good of Singapore, and I'm willing to speak out for them. Now, if the PAP asked me to speak in their rally, I probably would have accepted, because I think some of the PAP MPs, maybe many of them are also wanting to work for the interest of Singapore. So therefore, by speaking at the rally doesn't mean I'm pro-opposition. I just want to be pro people who are willing to work for the best interest of Singapore.